Thank you, President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Communications, Senator Watt. Minister, why is the ABC receiving funds from potential agents of foreign influence for its fact-checking partnership with RMIT?
Minister Watt.
I don't believe I have anything on this. Thank you, President. I'm not actually aware of the suggestions that Senator Roberts is making, and I'm a little wary about taking it at face value because I know Senator Roberts has a certain view of the ABC. It's not a view that I share. And Senator Roberts, I'm not sure, has always accurately represented the situation when it comes to the ABC. But I would invite Senator Roberts to present further evidence of that if he has that evidence available. What I will say, though, is that this government is a very strong supporter of the ABC. Of course, we recognise that it has a very important role as the national broadcaster. It has an important role not just in our big capital cities, but particularly in regional parts of Australia, which is often the only way of having local, regional stories told at the national level. And that's why we're supportive of the ABC. It also, of course, plays a very important role during natural disasters as a source of critical information for people seeking to stay alive during emergencies. So they are some of the reasons that we support the ABC, and they are some of the reasons why we were so concerned by the budget cuts that were imposed by the then coalition government on the ABC, because that removed the ability or reduced the ability of the ABC to broadcast those regional stories in some of those areas that Senator Roberts and Senator Hanson like to say they care about. That reduced the ABC's ability to provide some of that emergency information that is so vital to rural and regional communities. So we're very proud of the fact that we're strong supporters of the ABC. We don't join in the regular attacks that we see on the ABC from the Conservative side of politics, because we think that they play, and the institution plays, a very important role in our national democracy. And we will always remain strong supporters of the ABC.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Roberts, first supplementary.
International fact-checking networks' financial statements show that foreign organisation gave the RMIT-ABC fact-check partnership multiple grants. The International Fact-Checking Network receives funds from the US government, a private Norwegian foundation, foreign-headquartered tech giant Meta, and a handful of private shady foundations. Why didn't the ABC declare that it was receiving funding from private, foreign organisations and governments for its RMIT fact-checking partnership?
Thank you, Senator Roberts. Minister Watt.
Yes, well, that's a fair point, Senator Brown. I think if there was a fact-checker for some of the things that come out of One Nation, they'd be very, very busy. And we know Senator Roberts, and as for Senator Canavan, you wouldn't even start trying to check facts from Senator Canavan. You'd want to have more than a year, more than a decade, if you wanted to check facts from Senator Canavan. As I say, I'm very wary of entering into propositions that are being put by Senator Roberts when it comes to foreign interference and foreign influence. He is prone to saying various things about those issues which don't always bear fact-checking themselves. Again, Senator Roberts, I'd invite you to provide any hard evidence that you have to support the claims that you're making. But I could repeat my position that we are strong supporters of the ABC. In fact, I think the public regard it as the most trustworthy news agency in the country. That is regularly shown in surveys.
Thank you, Minister Watt. The time for answering has expired. Senator Roberts, second supplementary.
Thank you. The government's Combating Misinformation and Disinformation Bill does not define those terms in specifics. It would likely be left to biased and foreign influence fact-checkers. Facebook has suspended RMIT Fact Lab services after accusations of bias in fact-checking the Voice referendum and reports of lapsed accreditation. Minister, will the government abandon its Orwellian misinformation and disinformation bill, given that the fact-checkers' credibility has been destroyed?
Minister Watt.
Senator Roberts, thank you for the question. I know that you and a number of members of the Liberal and National Party have a strong position, so you say, in relation to matters of misinformation.
Minister Watt, I'll remind you to direct your comments to the chair.
Okay. President, I know that there are many senators from the Liberal, National and One Nation parties who say all sorts of things about misinformation. It doesn't seem to prevent them from presenting all sorts of misinformation about certain referendums that we're about to have in this country. It doesn't seem to prevent them joining in on misinformation and disinformation campaigns, telling people that we're going to be facing parking tickets being legislated by The Voice and all sorts of nonsense like that. So if you want to have a discussion about misinformation, I suggest that you keep your own house in order and come to this parliament in good faith rather than the constant misinformation we see from the other side.